bullet points to sweat, and hop 2 spider senses. What may have been being held back from your draw of heaven as above, yet to be below? Oh, I gotta cover this. We've got the Magus here. So, yet some, maybe some tool sets or methodologies that you could add to your hypothesizing or hypothesis gauntlets are being held back from you. Huh, that's interesting. Okay, so bullet point number 2, what kind of person in your environment has known this and been active at facilitating this block to your capacity to bring heaven to earth in your environment? And how might you recognize them? Either by the root of your failures or their own failures to disguise their intent of your overall success, maybe? I don't know. We've got the 7 of discs, so, and in this book it represents some kind of failure. So there's the clues as to kind of maybe look at failures subject-wise in an objective way without allowing your emotions to be triggered if you can help it. But yeah, that's kind of a tough way of going about recognizing those in your environment that may have been blocking this from your precipitating what your evaporation has been earning you, or whatever phoenixing, reverse phoenixing we have here on Earth to be doing, okay? Because we've had a lot about this phoenixing, right? So let's go ahead and like bring a little bit of clay up from the moon collective draw on the water's basin, okay? And bullet number 3, point to sweat. Who or what may your risk of your trust in to change this? Who or what may you risk your trust in to change this? Okay, so it's a who or what to put your trust in, to risk putting your trust in. The guidance intuition of the quantum says trust in sorrow. So, that might be a clue to be like, don't be afraid to expose others to your sorrow so you can help bring absolvement to it. I think that's how I'm interpreting it personally. So, don't be afraid to stand up for what you need to absolve the deprivation of your wants that you've been suffering through in whatever form that has come about, right? So, bullet point number 4. If you risk this trust, what will happen in the short term? we've got the Princess of Cups, which to me, right now, talks about inheritance for some reason. I don't know why it's saying that, but it is. So short term, if you risk this, there's something inherent about this risk. So maybe the inheritance is anticipation. And from anticipation, what's the expectorant of the long term of this risk of your trust? What will the long term effects be if you trust this? Bullet point number 5, to sweat the Ace of Swords. So what you can inherit in anticipation, the outcome is, that's a double-edged sword that they're showing in that depiction. So to me, that says, well, in the anticipation, there's both the intuition and the delusion, the negative and positive outcomes of anticipation from investing your trust in beyond doubts. Let's just call it faith in hope, or faith in hopes. Yeah, so expect that from your anticipation of what you're looking for your investment risk of trust. Okay, and really, like, maybe analyze the real probabilities of all that involved. Calculations may be in order. And bullet point to sweat number 6. What might you require of yourself to align with for the future your body, spiriting soul desires? I'll read that again. Okay. What might you require of yourself to align with the future your body, spiriting soul desires? Do you even know? Have you been looking at that? I don't know. This is kind of a diverse reading. So we've got to be the Queen of Swords. So decisive. Be decisive. You know, against all odds, when we were talking about the previous bullet point in you know, the bleeding edge is pretty much like against all odds. Yeah. So you might have to cut the odd probability out and settle for the even score. You know what I mean? Like, seems like, you know, even if the odd scenario is looking from your calculations that the risk is worth the effort and the outcome is going to be in the favorable intuitional anticipation and not the delusional, then you still might want to consider doing some more recalculation until you get an even score that doesn't have that sore thumb sticking out there to be lopped off by the universe while you're hitchhiking, because, you know, dehydration can be deadly. Okay, so bullet point number 7. What challenges might we foresee coming round the mountain on your path to this success? And we've got abundance, Three of Cups. So, abundance can be overwhelming, right? So, it can be a challenge, even. You can have too much to work with, and it kind of might, get you drunk on foreseeing the actual frankness of scenes. That makes sense to me. So abundance is it's your inheritance for sure, but yeah, that's interesting how it shows itself as a challenge here, because normally readers interpret abundance as something that is right around the corner for their listeners, but delusions and grandeur, right? Well, let's get the Boutress and move on to bullet point to sweat number what's your Wolverine and Deadpool here? Come on. What energy might best suit you, or what energy might best suit you up to face this chivalrously, so as the common folk honor your moves as they're in their best interest. So how to navigate through this abundance with the decisiveness of the Queen of Swords, the use of the Ace of Swords, from the perspective of the Princess of Cups, moving away from sorrow and failure via the Magus. We got it. The 8th card. And then we'll move on to no, not 9. Okay. The 8th card. What can you suit yourself with? The mindset of the Aeon. Okay, so playfulness, childlike innocence. That's the best face to go forward with the community. Awesome. I needed this personally, so because I've been pretty grumpy lately in it, but yeah, it has to do with my body and what it has in rapport with witch wounds and whatever, but nonetheless, that's okay, I can be mindful of that and hold back quite a bit, and I do for the community, honestly. So for the community and for me, this is good. Okay, like, let's have some leeway for your inner child's child, which I have to put out as an NPC, otherwise I'd be like this incessantly crying baby at y'all. Okay, so bullet point to sweat number 9. What is the underlying energy to avoid partaking in, to align you in confluence with divine providence in good timing? With these, let's just go with the straight. That's awesome. Because, in the Animal Cards deck, the original deck, by Jamie Sams and all the people she studied with, I think it was mostly Native American medicine people who shared with her the teachings of the animal kin. I don't know if perhaps she wasn't the first animal deck. I don't know, but whatever. We've got the moon, so that makes a lot of sense. Well, we'll just let AIPI take care of the great mystery. See, that's what the card I was thinking of in the animal deck is. I think it's cedar. The cedar tree has the great mystery window to the ellipse that births all stars entry from the omniverse into the universe, or something like that. I'm not totally sure, but we have the moon, we have the image of the scarab here, rolling up the condensate of light at the basin of what flows. Maybe I'm misreading this. Maybe somebody else out there reads it differently for the last bullet point. The underlying energy to avoid partaking in. Yeah, don't get involved in too much mystery. Like, work with your logic and your reason, and put your intuition in check with your delusions for sure. But, you know, there's only mystery there. Like, unless you have the scientific method by our greats predecessing us. Anyway, with the aeon of the child, like that innocent ignorance, like there's a difference between non-innocent ignorance and ignorance in knowledge keepers and such. But yeah, so that's the reading today. I hope it wasn't too frank or boring or whatever. I hope brought you some entertainment or insight on how you're navigating towards whatever future these bullet points to sweat were. Okay? All right, laters.